Within the year, they will leave their mother, and they will have to be well prepared.
They're not independent, but Esperanza taught them everything. Where to find food, where to live. So I believe that when these cubs leave the presence of the mom, they will be just fine.
Hey everyone, welcome to Build. I am joined here by our final and very special guest this afternoon from Nat Geo Wild, here to talk about Big Cat Week. I have Boone Smith with me. Boone, thanks so much for being here, man.
You bet, man. Thanks for having me.
Super excited. This is the 7th annual National Geographic's Big Cat Week. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is our 7th year.
That's really fun stuff. Now, Nat Geo Wild, 7th year. We've been doing it for 7 years, but it's not just about all the fun specials that we're going to see this week, right? There's a really cool tie back and sort of the history of Big Cat.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, of course, we want to show people great shows. We want to show them amazing footage, cool lifestyles that these cats lead. But in the end, it is an education, it's an awareness program. We want to bring it back and help people understand that, look, these cats are in danger, in peril in some places, and now is our time to do something about it. And so we have... we're connected through the Big Cats Initiative, which is people can go on the National Geographic website, they can look it up there, fun facts, but it also talks about all the research projects, how to get involved, what people can do to be part of it, and how you at home can make a difference.
Oh, for sure. And that's really one of the best parts about shows like these is they're super entertaining, they're super fun, but I don't know about everybody else, but I know I always feel inspired. Like, I want to do something to help these cats that need help. I want to do something to make sure that future generations get to enjoy this same incredible wildlife and the things that are out there. Speaking of multiple generations, you've been doing this. You're 4th generation big cat handler, is that right? Not just big cats exclusively, but it's been in your family for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate that I grew up in kind of the backwoods of Idaho. A grandpa and a father that raised me, kept me outside, doing lots of things, taught me an appreciation for wildlife at a very young age, and just kind of fell in love with being outdoors. And so when career paths came, a little bit of luck and just an idea that I just wanted to be outside. Yeah, it worked out perfect.
Was anyone in your family, I guess not because it was like an established business, but when they asked what you wanted to do and you're like, I just want to be outside, was there ever concern that
No, it's kind of right out of the gate from high school on. All my jobs have just been that way, and I'm fortunate to be tied in with an organization like Nat Geo Wild and the Big Cat Week and stuff, and so it's a great cause, it's a great thing to be part of, and happy to be here doing it.
What's if you can dial it back, like what's your earliest memory like of as a young child when you started to realize that this isn't just something that happens around me, this is something I really enjoy?
Yeah, so this will seem crazy to everyone here when I tell them this, but so my dad and grandpa, because of things they did and special skills they had, they were ranchers, they were cowboys. Oftentimes when there was a problem mountain lion or something like that, it was not uncommon for Fish and Game to call them and say, hey, we need this to be relocated, we need to put it somewhere else, we've got an orphan, can you catch it? And so these guys, they'd call them to go do it. And so I remember being like just a little guy, maybe 4 or 5 years old, and those guys going out and catching mountain lions, and like they'd put it in the chicken coop for a day or two until they figured out where they were gonna go release it or what they were gonna do with it. And so, growing up, it honestly was one of those, oh yeah, there's a lion down in the barn type thing, and it was normal. And I know that's crazy to say, but it was normal. And being exposed to, big wild animals like that, you couldn't help as a little kid to just go, that's awesome. Like, look at it, it's so cool. And then, you'd go be part of the releases when they turn them loose and things like that. And you're just like, man, I guess the process never hit that I went, how do I do this for a job? It was just a little bit of dumb lucky that it turned out that, man, this is what I do for a job.
Now, it's twice you mentioned the luck part. Do you care to elaborate? Like, what was the little bit of like luck or pixie dust that kind of led to making this a full-fledged career for you?
Right place, right time. Yeah. Honestly, I mean, I'll tribute, this is not a good message to tell kids. When I was doing my undergrad, I was going out in wildlife biology. My advisor kept telling me, look, you got to get some jobs with Fish and Game, Forest Service. You need something on your resume. And at the time, I was a river guide on the Middle Fork of the Salmon River in the wilderness area in Idaho. And I'm like, no way, man, river guidance. I was making good money. I was running rivers every day.
Yeah.
And I met a family there that we took down for 5 years in a row. So my whole undergrad career, I was a river guide. And they were a wildlife biology family. And through circumstances and discussions and getting to know them, they offered me a job.
It's pretty crazy.
And here I am.
Forgive my ignorance, but what specifically is a river guide? Were you like a gun for hire guy that knew the river? Like what
No,
was-
so I work for a company. So on the Middle Fork of the Salmon, it's a 100-mile stretch of river through the wilderness area, where we would take groups of people down each week and, kind of make sure, teach them how to camp, take care of them, feed them food, get them through the rapids safely. Sometimes we did fly fishing trips, things like that. But it's a wilderness area, so it's middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And, that was just the same thing, loved being outside.
It's pretty incredible. Now, you've got, I believe I was reading 2 kids, right?
2 kids, yeah.
2 kids. How old are your kids now?
I've got a boy that's 11 and a little girl that's 7.
Are they picking up the family mantle here? Are they getting involved? Are they interested in it as well?
My boy, I've actually, as a wildlife consultant, that's kind of my technical term now, so that means I will go to different projects all over the place, and I will teach biologists how to do safe and effective wildlife capture. So if we want to study mountain lions, I'll teach those guys how to catch and radio collar the mountain lions so that they can get their data and make their management decisions. And so my boy's 11. I've brought him on captures the last few winters, so completely exposing it to him, whether he wants to do it or not.
Right.
But he loves it. Like it's a great way to, how to beat family time like that, spending time.
For sure.
Catching lions.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit. Speaking of family time, that's what I do with my family. Went out catch lions.
Yeah, I mean, everybody
all the
does,
time.
right?
That's what we
Everybody
do.
does.
You do that, and then you stop at McDonald's on the way home. Yeah, talk about the lion catch. So speaking of things that you can do with the family, Big Cat Week kicks off tonight with a pretty incredible special. Actually, I wrote down the title of it. I was watching. I got to see some of them in advance. Battle for the Pride, which is 9/8 Central. It's happening tonight. Yep. How many of these have you seen? All of the specials that they're going to be airing this week?
I think I've seen them all so far. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's like asking you to pick your favorite kid, but do you have a favorite one or one that you're excited for everyone else to see and kind of like have a discussion around and talk about?
I do actually, and it's because there's just absolutely a personal connection, and that's it. We've got one coming up about the Jaguars. It was the clip we showed with the Jaguars start.
Yeah.
It's called Jaguar Super Cat, and it's because it's an area in Brazil in the Pantanal where I've worked there before, radio collaring jaguars. It's a conservation story. It's a science story, which is cool. Talks about what it takes to be a jaguar, survive in the jungle. But there's a little side story in it about 2 orphaned jaguar cubs that are rehabilitated, and they get released back out into the wild, and they survive and thrive.
It's pretty
incredible. It's a great conservation message.
That's the narrated by Sir David Attenborough, right?
Yeah,
and
that doesn't hurt.
No, that doesn't hurt at all. Talk about working with him and getting him involved and what that was like. I mean, he is like the voice of...
Yeah,
that's like a pedigree, right? That's like a seal of approval. Like, we've got the voice of nature documentary.
Yeah, what do you say when he narrates a film that, it just pulls us right into it. What he said, I mean, he makes it gospel. It's just so great. He has such an incredible talent for doing that. He's narrated a few of the films that I've been fortunate enough to be part of, and it's just such an impact factor. I mean, just amazing.
Have you ever had an opportunity to speak to him out of the context of narrating a film, and does his voice always sound that like that level of gravitas? It's like, I have to go to the store to buy milk.
Can you imagine being his family member and that's always what you're hearing? And go, that's just him.
Yeah,
I've been fortunate enough to be around him one time and just hear a little bit of a conversation, interact a little bit, and it's just him. Like, that's what he loves and is, and that's what's great about him. That's why it comes through that way, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Sorry to fanboy out on Sir David Attenborough.
No, I hear you.
How long? These films are always so fascinating because of a window into a world that you just don't get to see, and the only way that window gets to exist is through, I would imagine, patience on the part of the filmmaker, creativity and ways in which you capture it. How long does it take to put together a film like this?
Oh man, some of these films are done over the course of years and years.
Yeah.
Guys are going out and they're staying in the bush, and they're following prides of lions, and because you'll see in a lot of the films that come this year and that we show from other years, there's a life history. We're talking about little guys that are born, and we're following them through growing up into adulthood. I mean, so most cats are with parents for 2 years before they break off on their own. And so, these guys are literally putting years and years of time into tracking and telling the story of these life cycles and the struggles. And, you'll see in some of the films this year, there's failures. And sometimes they're heart-wrenching, but there's also a lot of successes in there too. And that's the great thing about them is I've had people, well, it's just another lion show. And it's like, every story, every facet, whether it's the terrain, the location, the other predators, the competition, every story is unique. And that's why we keep coming back and watching them, the next one and the next one, because it's always different.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think there's something to be said, even in this sort of time where anyone can go to the thing in their hand, in their pocket at any moment and see anything from around the world. There still is something special that can only be achieved when all of like yourself and all these experts come together and put all this time into this product. And they're really fun to watch. The one you're talking about specifically, Jaguar Super Cat, I believe that's airing tomorrow night, right? Tuesday, 2/21. I wrote down. Yeah. So for those listening and watching at home, definitely tune in for that one. And then on Friday, I mean, there's a whole bunch. There's something every night, right?
Oh, yeah, every night. We've got 7 new shows. 7 new shows, and then all day long, all night. I mean, we've got them coming. Your favorite will be there.
That's pretty incredible. We are just about at the 10-minute mark now. As I've said since you've arrived, don't get me wrong, I could talk to you all day.
Oh, yeah.
But
I
I believe
that.
everybody here knows there's reason to believe that you brought some friends along with you today.
We did.
And if at all possible, I'd love to get them out on stage.
Let's bring them out.
We could do that?
Yeah.
Guys, as you remember, we're going to contain your oohs and ahs. These are just the toys. These aren't the cats. But joining. So how old are the cats that we have joining us here?
10 weeks old. Yeah. So they're male cheetah cubs. There you go, buddy.
Oh my goodness.
From the Tanganita Wildlife Park in Kansas. And so these guys would be what we would consider our animal ambassadors.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a couple little quick details about them.
Yeah, please do.
Notice the white tips on the tails. One is much more white on the guy right here in front of me than the other. This is Poe, and that's how we identify Poe, is he's got the most white on his tail. So quick, easy glance, that's Poe.
That's Poe.
And then we got Mitchie over here.
Okay.
They're brothers. They're obviously cheetahs. You can already see, right now is what these guys are doing. They're just kind of assessing the room.
Just scoping it out.
This is all new. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
10 weeks old, we haven't, how many studios can you have done? So they're just checking this out, kind of getting a feel, new smells, everything. That's why I say, if everybody, if you move, just move real slow. It's not that they're going to get you. We're completely safe. But they are also horribly curious.
Yeah, I can see that.
And they want to check it out. They want to explore. Once in a while, we get them playing around, doing things.
Look at that.
Kind of,
Now, we, last Friday, we had Cesar Milan here talking about, the dog whisperer, talking about the book and all that sort of stuff. And he's very much about, like, the energy you put off as a human and how the animals can perceive that energy. And all your years working with cats, like these big and small, is there something to that, do you find, like, the way you carry yourself and the kind of...
Oh, I think he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
They sense those things. Confidence is confidence. And animals, people pick it up. Cats are the same as people. They tell us everything they're going to do.
Yeah.
You just got to speak a little cat. and it's body language. It's ears and tail position and things like that, eyes. It's the little reads like that. So you always know what a cat's going to do. I mean, I know they're looking away from the audience a little bit, but he's seeing the street and he's seeing cars and things go by behind me. So there's quick movements. These are visual predators. So
yeah, look at this guy.
They key on anything that moves, and that's you have to be that way. Don't you go there. See, he's seen something out there he doesn't know, so he's giving a little hiss.
I think there's a tiny dog walking by.
Yeah, he's a little unsure, so he gives a little hiss, and that's just like, I'm not sure I like that.
Oh my goodness. Now, you and I, we were discussing earlier, there's a part of me that is, of course, overwhelmed by their adorableness and wants to reach down to this ball to perhaps roll it by them. But you also said to resist the urge to put my hand in front of them as I would a dog, because they perceive that a little bit differently, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, they do. I mean, with these guys and dealing with them, they're going to get big. And so we want to make sure that whatever we do with them now, we create good habits so we don't have problems later on. And so, with the dog, we always want to stick our hand out and let the dog come sniff your hand. We don't do that with cheetahs. When you extend something like that, I'm essentially extending a chew toy. And so, not that these guys will bite us or hurt us, they got little teeth, but as they get bigger, if that's a habit that's made, those teeth will get big too. And so, how we interact with them now is really important because it creates good habits.
And how rapidly are they going to go? This is only 10 weeks and they're already...
Yeah, they're growing.
They're growing, right?
Yeah, I mean, male cheetahs can, hit upwards of 150 pounds. So we got some beef yet to put on them. Yeah, they can get big, and you can already see it in their bodies. They're getting really streamlined, which is what happens when you're a speed specialist. You see the long, lanky legs. You can see the spine's got that flex to it. The tails are cool because that's their rudder. You watch the slow motion videos of a cat running and turning. That tail's just going and going.
For sure.
And so they're already taking on those traits right now.
Boone, there's a very large part of me that wants to toss this ball in the safest possible direction.
Roll it right over towards Kim.
Okay. All right. Well, I won't lie. I was mildly disappointed by that. Yeah.
Nailed it. And that's the thing is, these are their toys they're used to.
Yeah, for sure.
But now all of a sudden there's a lot more new toys that we have in the room.
Well, there's a lot going on, right?
And there's the camera over there, there's the lights. Right now I think the thing that's got most of their attention is the people walking by outside. You guys are doing an awesome job of just chilling and holding still. But outside we got people just going by and they're seeing that, they're cued on that something's moving. So when we think about that, it's these are instincts that have evolved over millions of years.
Right.
And we don't just like bring them inside and they shut them off. Mm-hmm. So even though we can handle these guys, we've got handlers here, I mean, we can interact with them, there's still instinct in there that their brain says something's moving, I got a cue on that, I got a key on that.
Yeah, for sure.
And
So
that's
there's
what we're seeing.
Just basically millions, however many years of evolution has programmed them to read all of that movement as potential meals, right?
Don't get me wrong, yeah, and they're obviously, as a result, they're really
How are they
well-behaved.
How are they interpreting the man with his cell phone standing in the window, also filming?
and the lady with the baby on her chest?
Oh, no way, there's a...
At this point, these guys don't look at anybody as food or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's that instinct to something's moving, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
And they're jumping and they're keying on that. So, with it outside, these guys, it's a lot of stimulation right now, so they're seeing that, which, it's not a bad thing. It's good for them to see and learn and do. And they're, like I say, they're super well behaved right now. I can't complain about them.
Yeah, no, they're being really good.
I thought they were going to be through everybody. And
My lady and I, we often joke that we could never be foster dog parents because we would never be able to give up the dogs, and we would just end up having to get a farm with 100 dogs on it. You have done this your whole life. Is it ever hard once they get older to release them, or is it sort of a different bond because you've been training them for that moment?
I think my training as a biologist shaped my viewpoint on that a lot.
Yeah.
And it sounds horrible to say, but it's to be unattached. Like when we deal with like wild animals and we're doing research and things like that, we're observers. And I've been in situations where I've seen, little kittens die because bad things have happened. Wolves have killed some or hurt them. And you just kind of got to stand back and let nature take its course and observe that and document it, because that's what's important. This scenario is a hair different, but I think that training as a biologist is kind of where my mindset is. Like, not that I'm cold and calloused, but I love this. This is awesome. But we need, in the natural scheme of things, nature is what it is.
So, for sure. And that was, I see you chewing on the camera stand right now.
Just testing some things, yeah.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Making sure that's industry grade.
Yeah, just making sure it's up to code. Nature is what it is. It's going to do what it's going to do for sure. Oh, wait, the lady with the baby's coming in. But when I was watching the one that's premiering tonight, Battle for the Pride, parts of that, man, are absolutely brutal. Like, it opens up, and it's just like the reality of what's happening out there is pretty intense. They're not all the specials are brutal in that way, but there is sort of a necessary honesty there, right? Like, that's what nature is. That's how it works.
We want to cover the gauntlet, so I'll say this. There's something for everyone in Big Cat Week.
Yeah.
If you're a house cat lover, we've actually got a show for you. If you love the big predators and that are out there that are killing and fighting, we've got a show for you too. Yeah. The science conservation there. So some of it is not that we want to gross people out or this or that, but nature can be brutal. Mm-hmm. And I think whether it's a filmmaker or a conservationist, as a spokesperson, we have an obligation to present it as what it really is. Like, we see these guys and they're cute and cuddly and we all want to pick them up. Let's be honest. Everyone here wants to pick them up
we're all fighting that urge desperately right now.
Totally get that. But the reality is, in the wild, it's not like that. You don't get that. Every day is a day of survival. It's a battle of survival. And if you don't hit the bar, you're dead.
Yeah.
And so some of the films, we protect. And, Battle for the Pride, that shows the rough and tumble.
For sure.
Being a cat's a tough gig.
Yeah, for sure. I think we have some time for some audience questions. We're going to tune it over. Are there any tips that we should give our audience members before? Should they stand up, not stand up? Anything that we want to let them know?
Everybody just remain calm. No, just, again, no sudden movements. If you have a question, just raise your hand. I think,
we've got some microphones in the room.
Yeah, the least movement we have is the best for these guys. Like I say, they're really calm right now, and we don't want to... They spook easy, too.
Fair enough. I would too if I was 10 weeks old and furry. So let's go ahead and go to our first question. I see we have a microphone right here, front row.
Hi. I was wondering, how have working with these animals impacted your life?
That's a really good question, and I'll try and give you the short answer on it. Here's the biological answer. Big cats are good, because if we have places for big cats, that means we have big wild places. They're apex predators. If they're healthy, the ecosystem underneath is healthy. The personal answer is part of that as well. Big cats mean big places. Big places, wild places are important to us. I think it's how we reconnect spiritually. It's a place to go and kind of reconnect with the roots, the ancestry. And whether you go there all the time or you go there once in a while, I think that is so important for us as individuals and humans to be able to reconnect and to maybe shut down and turn off. And so there's an indirect effect there that I think makes them. And so for me personally, that's what it is. Like the big wild places is, I love it. And these guys are the result of that.
That's a beautiful, a very coherent answer that unfortunately throughout all of I was distracted because the cat was starting to chase the light on the stage, but that was very well said. Thank you for that.
Killing me, guys.
Do you ever get tired of them staging you up all the time?
They've been whooping me all day, but it's, you can't complain.
Yeah. I believe we have a few more questions. Next one is, right here in the back.
I'm curious, how big were they when they were born and how fast do they grow?
So as a general rule, he's hissing at the speaker. He doesn't like that. As a general rule, for most cats, they're going to gain about 1 pound a week when they're born. So they're going to be born just being a few pounds, and then they're going to put on roughly 1 pound a week as they go. And then they'll hit a point where that'll change a little bit. So, these guys, eyeball them, looking at them, they're probably 10, 12 pounds-ish and 10 weeks old. So they're pretty close to that.
When you're feeding them and all that stuff, and you don't go to the store and buy a bag of cheetah chow. Like, are you guys? How are you handling the?
You guys don't have that here in New York?
No, unfortunately.
Oh, wow,
you can get just about anything except that. But how do you handle the realities of that? How do you?
No, they're not vegetarians.
Yeah, for sure.
If you thought they were, they're not.
Yeah.
They don't eat hay. They eat meat, and so they're on a diet. It's a little different from these guys to maybe their wild cousins. Wild cousins are kind of feast or famine.
Yeah.
So mountain lion's the example I'll use for everybody. Mountain lion makes a kill. He could actually probably eat 15, 20 pounds in one go. These guys right now are about 6 ounces of meat a day, just to kind of maintain happy, healthy.
Awesome. I believe we have time for one more question. Who's got the microphone? Right here, second.
It's the last one, no pressure.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you? I'm Selena.
Hi, Selena.
I just want to say they're adorable. I used to watch you when I was younger, I still do. I want to start dealing with animals. What advice do you have for me to get into the habit? Because, I have a big dog, and it's just
Good
crazy.
question. Depending on what you want to do with animals, my advice for folks is, there's all sorts of levels of things you can do. I went to school for it. I spent time, did an undergrad, went back to grad school, done a bunch of trainings. But at any university, they're going to have wildlife projects. And so my advice to people is contact your local universities, find out what projects are. I get it, everybody wants to work big carnivores, big cats, they're sexy, they're pretty, they're awesome. But don't be afraid to not go out on the local bird study or whatever, get exposure, get time out, get experience, because that's what really matters. The two things I feel like I have is good cat experience and I have good outdoor experience. And that way I don't die and bad things don't happen and I'm not a liability, but yet I can put those skills to work. So anything you can get out there, go and do it, be out, be involved. It's all good experience.
Yeah. When did you teach him to give 5? Just give a little dab.
We just worked on that in the back.
Working on that one? Just showing a little love?
Now left.
Boone, unfortunately, I could talk to you all day, but unfortunately, I got to let you guys go. These guys need their rest and all those various things. But Big Cat Week, the 7th annual, kicks off tonight, 9/8 Central on Nat Geo Wild. There are incredible specials all week, every night. And then if people want to get involved with the Big Cats Initiative, where can they go to?
Jump on the website, the Nat Geo website or the National Geographic website. Both of them will get you there.
Beautiful. Guys, I know we can't applaud, but let's all in our minds applaud. And everybody at home, make some noise and join me in thanking Boone Smith for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, man, so
appreciated.
much.
Thanks, man.
Pleasure.
Awesome.